Hello, guys. Welcome back to BoreDraw, and we have reached the final game of the World Cup. Well, not the final game because they do that bait third place playoff.
Genuinely, I don't know. I get that they do it before the final because just how it is. But like, if they didn't, I swear down, no one would watch it if it was after the final.
Yeah, it's a bit
But
of a
it is
pointless
what it is.
game. Players going to be risking injuries for the sake of
Yeah.
a third place medal. Pointless. Get rid of it. But yeah, we're here today to talk about the
The
upcoming
big
World
one.
Cup final between Argentina and France. Yeah, it's going to
Messi
be
and Mbappe, man.
Messi and
Oh.
Mbappe,
Oh.
the two PSG boys facing off, the GOAT versus someone who could be up there in the future in that sort of term. So yeah, it's
I
going to be
I like
interesting.
captioned it in my mind as the two best players in the world, but you can decide. I'll put it out there to just the general public. You can decide who's first and who's second best, but they are the two best players in the world.
Yeah, at the minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll get into it. We'll start by discussing Argentina versus Croatia. Um, Croatia just looked a bit ragged, didn't they? Looked a bit
Mate, they
tired.
look shit. And we said it in the preview. I think I said that, like, in my opinion, they're about 2 or 3 games past where they should have been in terms of how good they've been playing. I don't think they dropped a very good game pretty much the entire tournament. They had like a lot of like 6 and 7 out of 10s, but they didn't blow anyone out of the water.
They
And
were
they
quite
kind
good
of,
against Canada, but that's not really saying much.
yeah. But yeah, so I think a combination of that, and they've got a lot of older players that have played a lot of 120-minute games. So yeah, I think it's just like tiredness got to them. And Argentina, obviously, they've got a lot of young players in their team. I didn't realise, but the likes of Alvarez, Enzo Fernandez, they've got a decent little core of
Lionel
young players
Messi,
that,
who's
yeah,
reverting back to
come on.
23-year-old Messi.
So
It's
yeah, they're
insane,
just
yeah.
they got legs for days.
Yeah, I agree. I think Argentina on the day had. I think going into it, regardless if these teams were both fully fresh and ready to go at peak fitness, I think it would have been a tighter game. But I
Yeah,
think Argentina still would have run out as winners. I think they've got a bit too much quality throughout the pitch. I
definitely,
think,
especially in the final third, where I think Croatia lack that quality.
yeah, I think Julian Alvarez has been a really key part to sort of Argentina's revival at this World Cup after that dodgy
Yeah.
start. And Lionel Messi is there. Have we got any words to describe his sort of performances
Mate,
he's putting
he's
in?
actually fucked. And like, I know you mentioned the Saudi Arabia game and that wobbly start, and then straight after it, all the pundits were on Messi's neck. Like, oh, nobody. I saw Gary Neville say nobody fears playing against Lionel Messi anymore. He's too old. Blah blah. And literally since then, he's just been probably the best player of the tournament. Maybe him or Griezmann or Mbappe. But yeah, Messi has been different level this tournament, and I think there was a discussion that like him and Ronaldo coming into this World Cup, it'd be both their last World Cups, and it was like who was going to steal the headlines, and it's been Messi by like a country mile as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think, I mean, you're watching him the game against the Netherlands where he puts that ball through for the
Mm,
assist, and
yeah,
it's just a pot. He doesn't even look up. He knows exactly where the striker is, and he puts it through Ake's legs, and it's like the
yeah,
tightest of angles. I didn't even see the angle that he could make that pass. I didn't think it was possible, but he's got it as Ake sort of like opens his legs to move forward. The
yeah.
timing is insane, and then he done a couple of that versus Croatia, and also the bit where he like literally absolutely is it Guardiola who he just fucking
Yeah,
like.
literally like the best centre back of the entire tournament. Messi's just got him 1-on-1 and embarrassed him. And like a position where like Messi's old now, so he doesn't have that burst of pace really. But he burst past Gvardiol, and then on the byline where the centre back in theory should just muscle him off the pitch, Messi's just skinned him, and then his low centre of gravity is just like, absolutely sent Guardiola, and yeah, it's crazy stuff. And
Yeah,
then he has the composure to square it to Alvarez, which is
yeah,
crazy.
it's the man's what, like 35, and he's making these young professional footballers, even footballers in their prime years, look like absolute amateurs.
Chumps, mate.
Yeah,
Chumps, yeah.
chumps. But yeah, I mean, it's yeah. If he can
Yeah,
carry that
he
on
ran
into the
that game against
final,
Croatia. Croatia just couldn't handle him.
the thing is, yeah, you could put any team in the world against Lionel Messi right now, and I would still be thinking if Messi turns up, he
Yeah.
they've got a good chance of winning this.
100%.
And that's sort of how I'm looking at the final. We'll talk about France as well, but in their game versus Morocco. I sat there and I watched that game, and I was just thinking,
France was second best.
England would have gone through against Morocco.
100%. 100%.
And it was bitter to watch because I knew if we had just put that penalty away, we would have been there versus Morocco and we'd be in the final of a World Cup.
100%. The last
the
two
France
games
performance were poor.
Yeah, the last 2 games they've been in against England and Morocco, France have been second best. Obviously, they've got outrageous quality in the final third, plus Mbappe, so they can afford to be pretty average and still get away with it. But in the grand scheme of things, as if you were looking at it as an Argentinian fan, or even just a general football fan, and you were to pick who you think going into this game would be the winner, I don't think it's as clear cut as it might seem that everyone's back in France. They haven't been that good.
I think all the bookies have them as evens, both of them.
So I haven't been majorly sold on France, but like Argentina have got Messi, France have got Mbappe, and he pretty much ran the game against Morocco in the final third. He did some outrageous stuff, which
the way I sort of look at it is like across the pitch, there's probably maybe only 3 positions where I'd pick an Argentinian player over a French player. But even then, it's not so clear cut.
Yeah,
it is going to be and we'll keep talking about the Morocco game because Morocco.
Maybe we should do a little joint lineup. Who we'd pick?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. Nice. I think Morocco. They obviously went 1-0 down very early on. It was sort of a bit of a scrappy goal, a bit of a missed clearance, and
yeah, I think they sold themselves too early. So normally what they do is just sit nice and tight all game. But the goal came from the centre back. I can't remember his name, Al Alahi. He instead of sitting back and allowing France to play onto them, he tried to jump out and intercept the ball and completely missed the ball. And then they were in. Whereas, I think that's just a rush of blood to the head as he's excited that he's in the semi-final and he's like, fuck me, I'm going to start this game by making a big interception and everybody get excited. And he missed the interception and they went in and scored. But after that moment, it was pretty much all Morocco. France, I don't know, they didn't really have much for me. There's a lot of good defending from France.
They're lacking someone in the middle of that pitch to sort of take control.
Yeah, their presence in midfield. They were getting outrun by
Amrabat,
Unahi, who was outrageous, and then Amrabat as well. Those two, they'll be moving on from their current clubs. I'm pretty sure they're linked with a whole host of teams.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. France was just getting outrun in the midfield, and then it came to the likes of Kanate, Jules Koundé, even Griezmann was put in a pretty good defensive shift. And that's how they got through it. And the fact that Morocco in the final third, El Naziri isn't really that guy. So if they had a striker, I always thought this, someone of the likes of, do you know Taremi from Iran?
Or Barak Yilmaz from Turkey.
Good striker in a team that's not very good.
Yeah.
Whereas Morocco have got a pretty solid team, but just no striker. If they had someone like Taremi in their team, they'd be a pretty solid outfit. Because El Naziri, apart from that goal against Portugal, didn't really offer too much this tournament. And I think, the quality in the final third kind of let them down. And they hit
I don't want to say anything, but they've got Ilias Chair sat on the bench. He's
I know,
one of the most goals and assists combined in the championship. So, yeah, who knows? I don't know. He brought him to the bloody press conference and he hasn't even played a minute. So I guarantee he'll play in the third place playoff game.
Yeah, maybe.
Get injured, do his ACL or something. Just, it's that luck. But, I was impressed by Morocco. Like you say, definitely lacking some sort of final finisher, poacher man in that box area.
Yeah.
Because they create quite a lot of chances. And
so many
it was interesting to see because we've only really seen them sit back and play on the counter, whereas when they took the game to France, they were actually really impressive. But I feel like if they tried to play that way the entire tournament against a team like Portugal or something like that, they might have been found out, someone who's got a little bit more quality in the middle.
Yeah, I saw someone, the French fan, tweet that if Argentina win the World Cup, they'd have had a stupidly easy run in that.
They haven't played any team inside the top 10 apart from France.
Yeah, and then France were that because he's French, he was and they're going to play France's B team because everyone's out with the flu.
Yeah,
and I looked at France's run. France's run, apart from England, isn't majorly
It's not majorly
challenging either,
difficult,
really.
no.
No,
I
so
mean, they played Poland, who was fair, like he's pretty decent. They played England, who's probably their hardest game in the entire
and they struggled
tournament,
in that game. Yeah, they were second
big
best,
time.
but
I think they were second best. They were second best in the Morocco game, but got through, I think, through sheer quality.
and I think that is why everyone, I'd say, like you said, it is probably evens now between the two teams. But I'd say more people would probably slightly back France, and that's just because they've got that mentality to get them over the line, like we've seen in the last couple of games. But
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
I feel like going into this final though, I'm quite excited because they are so evenly matched. I feel like the Messi factor is massive on one side, and then Mbappe, as well as the quality of the rest of the French team, is massive. Obviously, those two players will be getting the limelight
Yeah,
on Sunday, so it will be interesting. I've sort of found Mbappe to be quite lackluster in these last two games. He had a really good
okay.
game against Poland, where he scored those outrageous goals, and then after that, I haven't really
I
felt.
agree in the England game. He got pocketed by Kyle Walker, definitely. In the Morocco game, I'd say he was good. I think it's hard against Hakimi, who I tweeted during the game, is, in my opinion, the best right back in the world, I think. And it's hard to play against someone that you play day in, day out, so they like PSG together. But I think Mbappe was pretty involved in that game. He was the one that got France the
Yeah, the
assist
second
for
goal.
Hernandez's goal and the
Yeah,
second goal. So
yeah,
he is pretty crucial. And I think what he does is he just creates so much chaos when he gets in and around the final third because
yeah.
everyone just shits themselves.
Maybe
And
I was a bit too hasty with calling him lackluster. I think, it, yeah, maybe I'm thinking way too much of the England game, but
yeah,
yeah,
he
I don't
got
know.
pocketed by Kyle Walker in the England game, to be
I'm
fair.
probably comparing it a bit too much to Messi's performance in the last two games as well, which
Mm,
I probably shouldn't make direct comparisons to because I feel like the Messi thrives on the fact that people know he's there, but his play style is very much they know he's there, but they can't really do much about it because he
mm.
will just walk around the top end of the pitch
Yeah.
and wait for the spaces, wait for the ball to feet. Whereas Mbappe does it, he'll come short a bit more for it, or he'll look to
Yeah,
break
he
the line.
constantly wants to be on the
He
ball.
doesn't really play in the pockets as much.
Mm.
So it's yeah, maybe it is a bit different, but I'm excited to see how these two sort of match up against each other.
Yeah, and I think
Um,
what's exciting as well is both of them are probably coming up against the weakest points of the opposing teams. Like, if Hernandez is out, so there's a big like flu dilemma with the France team at the moment. I think the likes of Canate's
Varane,
out, or Upamecano, Varane, Chouameni, so many players are like apparently got the flu or whatever. So we don't know how they're going to line up. But I think Hernandez is one of the players that's got the flu. So Messi's either going to line up against an ill Hernandez that's not 100%, or some backup. Maybe they'll play Camavinga out there again. And if they play Camavinga out there again, that could be problems for France. And the same with Argentina. I don't really rate the Argentinian fullbacks in Acuna and um, Molina. Don't rate them too highly. Molina's been okay, but
Acuna's been pretty.
yeah, both of them haven't really like shown me enough to think that they could handle Mbappe. So I think Mbappe and Messi probably will get a lot of joy this game, which will be exciting.
Yeah, I think for me, I think the midfield comes down to if Griezmann turns up. I've been very impressed with him
Yeah,
pretty
let's
much
talk
in every
about
game this
Griezmann.
tournament. He
Outrageous.
plays that floating number 10 role so perfectly.
Yeah, you
Um,
see on Pogba's Instagram story, he put a picture of Griezmann and he called him Griezmann Kante, and I was like, what guy?
he's been incredible, and we've often seen him sort of played out wide earlier on in his career,
Yeah,
and he was a bit more dynamic, a bit more electric, and he's really matured into a very smart football player. Like we talk about high IQ a lot, high IQ football players, and he's at the very top of that game.
yeah, 100%.
He's always in the right place. He's always creating spaces for his teammates to run into, and
Yeah, I feel
technically
like
we
as
know
he's
exactly
got
what he's
older,
about.
his like IQ has matured, and he's just playing that kind of almost like Kevin De Bruyne-esque role, where he just floats around, creates the right space. His passing has got really good recently, and his defensive work is really good. So yeah, he does that kind of. He has no fixed position in that French team, and I think Deschamps just like lets him kind of just see how the game's going and let him figure out the game by himself, which is what I think Pep does with De Bruyne. And yeah, I think he's definitely had one of the best tournaments so far.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. I think he could be up there for. I don't think he's hit the levels of Mbappe and Messi. I think it's
Mm.
between those two for sort of player of the tournament.
Yeah, unless he goes
But
crazy in the final.
yeah, I definitely think he would be in and around the conversation though.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting. Both these teams line up with a back four.
yep,
Um, so another player who I've been quite impressed with for Argentina, uh, Alvarez, I want to give a shout out to, but McAllister.
yeah.
I
Outrageous.
think
I
he's
was going to
he's
say the same.
been very very good this tournament.
Yeah,
Very impressive. So I think he could play a big part in this.
yeah. I think
But
what the likes of DePaul, McAllister, Alvarez all do so well is they know that Messi isn't going to put in like the kind of work rate, the the tracking, the kind of high press. So they are all playing like 150% to try and make up for Messi's kind of lackluster pressing, and they're all totally fine to do it because they know that he will deliver in other aspects of the game. And I think that's what I don't know. Some other teams like if they had to carry a player, the other players might not be happy to make up the difference. But all the players in this team, Alvarez, McAllister, DePaul, they're all like, fuck me, Messi will get us through. We just got to work that little bit harder to cater for him. And I think that's what Argentina have got going for them. Such like a hungry mentality to not only win the trophy for themselves, but win the trophy for Messi, I think.
yeah, I definitely agree. Should we move on to like a combined
Yeah, let's
11?
build a little 4-3-3. Why not?
Yeah, a little 4-3. So starting off in goal, we got between Martinez and Lloris. I think
I'm
it's pretty
intrigued to see
obvious
who you
who.
say.
I think it's pretty obvious who we. I think well, you're a Lloris hater from day one.
I am. I'm a day one hater.
I think Lloris has actually had a pretty decent tournament.
Yeah, I do as well. I feel like whenever I come out and say I hate him, the next couple of weeks he'll just pull off like 10 out of 10 games. So I think he has me to thank for that. But yeah,
But I'm
Martinez for
still
me.
going Martinez for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
In your right back role, it's a bit interesting because I think before the tournament I would have gone with Pavard.
Oh,
Oh,
look
you
who
got a
it
little
is.
guest here.
Look who it is.
Look who it
Um,
is. It's the boy. But yeah, I think before the tournament I would definitely gone with Pavard as right back. Jules
yeah.
Koundé stepped into that role. I still haven't been very impressed with him.
I think he does like a very kind of like solid, quiet job. He's never going to be like stand out. He's never going to get you many assists. He's not going to run up and down the wing, but he will kind of cater for like. I think they do what kind of Arsenal do in the sense that like he'll tuck in and be that Ben White role that he'll push in to make a third centre back, and they allow Teo Hernandez to push even further up. But yeah, like you said, I don't think he's been majorly exciting, but I'd
He
say
does the job.
Molina has maybe been a little bit better. He's offered a couple of assists this tournament.
Yeah.
He's
He's
defensively
been
pretty sound as well.
he's actually quite adept at going forward. He does
Yeah,
cause a little bit of threat. So I think for me, yeah, I'd go with Molina as my right back.
yeah, I like that.
We're playing for vibes here. Centre back pairing. Decent centre backs on option here. I mean, you've got the likes of Varane, Konate, Upamecano's played a bit. We've seen Romero, Otamendi, a little bit of
I want
Lisandro
to shout out
Martinez.
Otamendi. My guy must be about 40 years old now, and I
He's
think he
put on a
got
good shift, you know.
yeah, and he got clowned a lot of Man City for not being at that level. But at this tournament, I'd say he's been Argentina's strongest defender.
Yeah, I would
Yeah, he's
agree.
been
I
really
think
good.
for me, I'll put it out there. I'm going Otamendi and Konate.
Yeah, I like that. I was going to
I
say
th-
Otamendi and Upamecano, but I'm happy with Otamendi
yeah,
and Konate.
yeah. And then left back for me, if Teo Hernandez is fit, I think it's him. I think he's had a
Yeah,
pretty
I
good
think
tournament.
Acuna's dead, to be fair.
Yeah, Tagliafico as well, not
Yeah,
the
Tagliafico. I
greatest.
think he's only played one game. I think he came into the tournament with an injury or something, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say Teo Hernandez every day of the week.
Your midfield three, you wanna fire away?
Whoa. I think I'd go Tchouaméni,
I agree.
McAllister, and Griezmann.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think so many McAllister, Griezmann. I've been very impressed with Griezmann. I think
I do
Fernandez
want to
could have
shout
been
out
in there.
Rabiot though, because I think he was injured last game, and I think he's on the fence about making the final. But I think a lot of people kind of recently in like his club career, he hasn't really been playing much. He's been loaned out a couple of times. He's been trying to force moves through that haven't happened, and so he hasn't really been hitting the heights. And then he got called up to the France squad. I think a lot of people are thinking surely he doesn't start. Camavinga's better than him. Blah blah blah. started all the games up until he got injured. And I'd say he's dropping 8 out of 10s pretty much every game. Very solid alongside
Yeah,
Tchouaméni.
he plays a very interesting role. It's quite advanced, and he's always in the box when there's like pressure in
Yeah,
that area.
I think his stock has definitely rose during the World Cup.
But yeah, for me, I'm joining you. Tchouaméni, Griezmann, and McAllister.
Shout out McAllister though. That's massive.
Yeah, massive.
Yeah,
Brighton
love
boy
that.
doing it big in the
Yeah.
World Cup final. I'd love to see it. And then the front three, we might have a split opinion here.
So Messi
We've
and
got
Mbappe on the wings.
yeah,
Easy.
Messi and Mbappe are locked in. You've got the likes of Alvarez, Dembele, Giroud.
I'd go Giroud, but I like Alvarez a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I was
Like
very
the front
split.
three of Messi, Mbappe, and Alvarez. That is like mad. That is energy.
Yeah, it is insane. But I feel like the likes of Messi and Mbappe could really play off someone like
Giroud, yeah.
Giroud.
Yeah.
He's a
And
very high IQ player as
I
well.
was going to say he's had a better tournament, but I think Giroud and Alvarez are both on 4, aren't they? Goals.
Yeah,
And Messi and Mbappe both on 5.
and
So
I
yeah,
think Alvarez has played less games, hasn't he?
yeah. No, I like Alvarez a lot, and I think the fact that Man City have got him and Haaland is a bit of a fucking
It's a
joke,
bit,
if you
yeah,
ask me.
it's a
But
bit insane. Yeah,
yeah, I'd say maybe Giroud just because he just offers maybe a little bit more in and around the box, a little bit more kind of experience.
yeah, I agree with that. So our lineup is Emi Martinez. We got Molina. Who do we go for? You went for Otamendi and Upamecano,
Yeah, and you went
and I
for
went for Otamendi
Otamendi.
and Konate.
Yeah,
Both got Teo Hernandez at left back. Then we've got midfield of Tchouaméni, McAllister, and Griezmann. And then we've
what
got
midfield?
Messi, Giroud, and Mbappe.
Love it.
I
Love
think
it.
that's a tasty little team.
Yeah, same.
Before we finish up, do you want to give us a little score prediction for the final?
Yes.
A tough
So I
one.
was watching back. I was editing some TikToks out of our last pod where we were talking about the final, and I said that I think so. My head thinks France are going to win 2-1, but my heart, I think it's going to be cagey. I think it's going to be 0-0 at half time. I think it's going to be scary last 20 minutes. And I think Messi scores the winner in like the 80th minute, 1-0 Argentina.
Is that your final prediction?
I think so.
You going with your heart, yeah?
Yeah, always.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1. 1-0 at 90 minutes.
Whoa.
2-1 in extras in the first half of extra time.
To who?
Lionel Messi.
Let's go.
Yeah, Argentina. And I think that last half of extra time is going to be a just outrageous attacking performance from France. But I think you got the likes of Otamendi, Martinez are going to hold strong, man. I think it's going to
I
end
hope
up being
so.
a 2-1 to Argentina after extra time.
Let's go. I think
But
it'd
yeah,
be sick. I think we both want Messi to win it. So
yeah, I
be
agree. I
exciting
think we
times.
both. Yeah, I think we want it. We need it for football heritage.
Yeah.
For
Let
that
us know
culture.
in the comments who you're predicting to win, and we'll see you on the flip side after the game, maybe midweek, where we'll do a World Cup roundup.
And then we're back to Premier League, baby.
Premier League's back, baby.
Back to Premier League. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this little video, remember to subscribe. We're trying to hit 100 subs before the new year. So yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're going to be firing out the content from January onwards as well, wrapping up towards the end of the season. I mean, my boy Roz, Arsenal in a big little race now against City,
Let's
so we've got
go.
some big games coming up.
And
But
no
yeah,
Gabriel
make sure
Jesus. Scary time.
no Gabriel Jesus, and yeah, we've got the transfer window coming up. Exciting times to be a football fan. So
Yeah, man.
yeah, make sure you drop us a little subscribe, and then yeah, follow all our socials as well. Get involved, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys. It's been BoreDraw,
And it's live. Let's go.